So in this particular lecture, we're going to talk about singular points, singular points, and curve tracing. Okay, curve tracing in rectangular coordinates or Cartesian coordinates. Okay, so we start with singular points. So first, let us study what are multiple points. Okay, multiple points. So suppose we have a point, say P. Okay, and we have some curve, say y equals to fx. Now if the curve intersects the point P in such a way such that r branches of the curve go through the point P. Okay, r branches of the curve goes through the point P, then this P is called a multiple point of y equals to fx of order r. Clear? The point through which r branches of a curve pass is called a multiple point of that particular curve of order r. Clear? Under multiple points, the thing we are going to study is double point. That is the multiple point of order 2. Okay, it is simply a multiple point of order 2. Okay, so double points are basically of three different types. One is node, the second one is a cusp, and the third one is a isolated point. Isolated point. Clear? So we are going to study what is a node, what is cusp, and what is an isolated point. Clear? So node. Suppose we have a point like this P, and we have a curve such that the curve goes through point P in this way. So two branches of the curve actually pass through the particular point P. But the condition here is that the tangent for the two different branches at that particular point, which are kind of like this and like this, these two tangents, let this be a dash and b dash. So these two tangents a dash and b dash are real and distinct. Clear? If this condition is satisfied that the two tangents at the particular double point are real and distinct, then that particular double point is actually a node. Okay, this type of formation if appears in a particular curve, then this actually is known as a node. The point is actually known as a node. Clear? Got it? Okay, basically you need to know one more thing, make it very clear that if you have some multiple point and the multiple point has its order r, then the point will surely have r tangents. The point will surely have r tangents. They may be real, they may be imaginary, they may be distinct, and they may be coincident. Okay, clear? But r tangents must be there in a multiple point of order r. Clear? Okay, so I am rubbing this portion. So understood what is a node? I will be telling you each and everything to find out whether there is a node or not. Let me just first give you the description. Then we have a cusp. So cusp is, suppose we have a point here P, and we have the curve such that it looks something like this. Now see that at the point there is only one tangent which is tangential to both the branches of the curve. See here, both the branches had two different tangents, right? They were real and distinct. But here we have only one tangent at the double point which is common to both the branches of the curve. Okay, so here what we have is that tangent is real and coincident. Okay, tangents are real and coincident basically. Okay, tangents are real and coincident, therefore P is a cusp. Clear? Then we have something we called an isolated point. Let us move on to the next page. What is an isolated point? Isolated point. So if there is no real point on the curve in the neighborhood of a point P, then P is called an isolated or a conjugate point. Clear? So if we have some point P such that there is no real point of the curve y equals to fx in the neighborhood of this particular point P, then that point is known as an isolated point. Clear? Got it? Okay. So now we will be talking about tangent at origin. How to find the tangent at origin and how to determine whether at origin there appears a cusp, a node or anything. Okay. So let's see. Tangent at origin. Okay. So suppose we have a curve y is equals to 4x square, y square equals to 4x square plus 9x to the power 4. Okay. Then how to find the tangent at origin? What we need to do is that we need to equate the lowest powers to 0. Clear? So what are the lowest powers here? So here the lowest powers is y square equals to 4x square. That means y is equals to plus minus 2x. Therefore at origin we have two real and distinct tangents as y equal to 2x and y is equals to minus 2x. Thus at origin we have a node. Clear? Got it? So this is the way in which we can actually find out the tangents at origin, something like that. Okay. Next thing. Now suppose we are to show that origin is a conjugate point. Okay. So first what we need to do is that first we need to find the tangent at origin. Suppose we have been given this equation x to the power 4 plus y cube plus 2x square plus 3y square equal to 0. So what are its lowest terms? So 2x square and 2y square. So that means ki 2x square plus 3y square equal to 0. From here we get y is equals to plus minus I times root over of 2 minus 3x. Therefore, what we can say that there is no real point of y equals to fx, which we get from here itself, near origin. Thus origin is a conjugate point. Clear? Understandable? Okay. Now we will be talking about what are the necessary conditions for the existence of a double point. Okay. What are the necessary conditions for the existence of a double point? Okay, necessary conditions for the existence of double point. Okay. Okay, so for some y equals to fx, if del f over del x equals to 0 and del f over del y equals to 0 at the point xy, then xy is a double point to y equals to fx. The actual theorem says that, when we had studied envelopes, we had seen that for envelope to exist, we need this equation to equal to 0, and we had that okay, we would have written it like this, right? So fx square plus fy square equal to 0. Now this is true only if fx equal to 0 and fy equal to 0, right? If this condition was true, this would not be equal to 0, then we would have had an envelope. So, but if this would have equal to 0, then we would be getting a singular point. Okay, clear? Acha, what is fx? You don't know this. I think you should know this. Okay, I am just telling you once more about something about these partial derivatives. So see, if you have some y equals to fx, okay, or let me write it as f xy equal to 0. So del f over del x is equals to fx, del f over del y is equals to fy. Okay, del square f over del x del y is equals to fxy, del square f over del y del x is equals to fyx, del square f over del x square is equals to fxx, and del square f over del y square is equals to fyy. Clear? Now let me show you how these things actually are calculated. So I'm going through a new page. I think you people have copied this. So I'm going through a new page. Suppose you have this particular curve, x to the power 4 plus y to the power 4 equals to 0, let's say. Okay, so fx will be 4x cube, derivating this with respect to x. Fy will be 4y cube. Now what is fxy? Fxy is differentiating this with respect to y. This will be 0. So fyx differentiating this with respect to x will be 0. Fxx differentiating this with respect to x gives you 12x square. Fyy differentiating this with respect to y gives you 12y square. Now clear how to find these? Okay, this means that differentiating this with respect to y, differentiating this with respect to x. Got it? Okay, now clearing this page up. So now as we were talking about the necessary conditions, we have already told that the function fxy if equals to 0, this is a curve given to us. Then if del f over del x equals to 0 and del f over del y equal to 0 at some point xy, then at that point we have a double point to the curve fxy equal to 0. Okay, now how to understand that what category the double point is, whether it is a node, whether it is an isolated point, or whether it is a cusp. Basically we need to calculate three different derivatives. One is del square f over del x del y, which is actually f of xy. Then we have del square f over del x square, that is f of xx, and del square f over del y square, that is f of yy. Now let us understand the conditions which are required. Okay, so first condition, if xy square is greater than fxx times fyy, then we have a node. Okay. Secondly, if f square xy is less than fxx times fyy, then we have a conjugate point. Clear? And thirdly, if f square xy is equals to fxx times fyy, then that indicates that at the point xy we have a cusp. Got it? These are the actual conditions. Okay, so let us take an example. So suppose we have this particular curve, x cube plus x square plus y square minus x minus 4y plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so we are asked that find the double point and check whether it's a node or isolated point. Okay, so for a double point to exist, del f over del x must be 0. So 3x square plus 2x minus 1 is equals to 0. Clear? Got it? So here, from here, what can we find out actually? So see, from here we actually, what do we get is actually x equals to 1 over 3 and minus 1. Okay, similarly if we do del f over del y, what do we get? 2y minus 4 equals to 0. So y is equals to 2. So the point is actually this. Sorry, let me not write it in third bracket. So the points which can be double points actually are this and this. Clear? Got it? Now one more condition is to necessary that this equation must be equal to 0. But we find that f at 1 by 3 2 is not equal to 0. You can find it on your own. So the double point must exist at this particular point because f of minus 1 2 is equals to 0. So at this point we have a double point to this particular curve. Clear? Got it? Now what is that type of what is the particular type of the double point? Okay, we need to find that at this moment. Okay, so we already know what are the ways to find. So we need to find two derivatives, basically three derivatives. F square, right? We need to find two derivatives. What are those? So f square, sorry, not f square, very sorry, del square f over del x del y. Clear? Okay, what was your del f del x? It was 3x square plus 2x. Okay, and it was 3x square plus 2x minus 1. So that with respect to y derivative will give you 0. Then you have del square f over del x square. So this gives you 3x square becomes 6x and 2x becomes 2. And del square f over del y square becomes 2y becomes 2 and minus 4 becomes 0. So this is what you have actually. Clear? Now, so what now see what is the relation between them. So this is basically your fxx, this is your fyy, and what is your xy point? It is minus 1 2. Okay, so basically del square f over del x square at minus 1 2 is minus 6 plus 2, that is minus 4. So fxx times fyy is actually minus 4 times 2, that is minus 8, which is less than 0, that is less than fxy whole square. And if so, then what do we have? Actually? We have a node. Clear? Fxy is greater than this portion, so we have a node at the point minus 1 2. Clear? Got it? Okay. Now we can check it in a different way also. We can basically do a shifting of origin and then we can do the case of tangents. Okay, do shifting of origin, we can go through the finding this tangents. right? If we shift the tangent to the point -1 2 and then we find the if we shift the origin to the point -1 2 and then we use the tangent property at origin and then we find out whether we have two distinct tangents or not, then we are done. Okay, got it? Now we will be talking about types of cusps. Clear? Types of cusps. Okay, let me drink a little bit of water. Okay, so types of cusps. Types of cusps. So the first type of cusp is called a single cusp. Single cusp. What is a single cusp actually? So suppose we have a point P where the curve comes like this, say like this, or let it be in the first case. Okay, now see, so this is the common tangent, right, and this is the normal at the double point. Find that both the branches of the curve lie on the same side of the normal. Both the branches of the curve lie on the same side of the normal. These cusps are called single cusps. Clear? And this diagram represent single cusp of first species. Single cusp of first species. If this diagram would have been something like this, okay, say this is like this, the two branches are on the same side of the tangent as well, then this would have become the second species. Okay, this would have become the second species. Got it? Clear? Similarly, we have one more type of cusp which is called the double cusp. Okay, double cusp. Here what happens? Suppose this is the double point and we have the curve something like this. Okay, if the curve is like this, then we still have a common tangent to both. Okay, but find that the normal, basically the curve does not lie on a particular single side of the normal. Clear? So there is no particular side of the normal to which all the branches of the curves actually reside. See, the branches of the curve reside on both sides of the normal. See, here also we have some branch of the curve, here also we have some branch of the curve. This sort of a cusp is called a double cusp. Okay, these also are of two types. This diagram is of the first species, and if this cusp would have been of this form, let's say, let me dub this portion. If this cusp would have been like, say, this, that both the both the branches basically lie on two sides of the normal but same side of the tangent, then this would have become the second species. Okay, the second species is also known as the rhamphoid cusp. Rhamphoid cusp. Clear? Double cusp and single cusp is clear, I guess. Okay, next we have the point of osso-inflection. Okay, what is the point of osso-inflection? A double cusp of both the species is called a point of osso-inflection. For in the case we have, okay, let me go to a new page. See, suppose we have a double point here P, and say we have this as the common tangent, we have this as the normal to the double point. If the curve lies in this manner, suppose this is one branch of the curve and this is other branch of the curve, then notice carefully, see, this branch of the curve actually leads to the first species. Okay, and this leads to the rhamphoid cusp. So basically in this case we have both the first as well as the second species together. Okay, this sort of a cusp is known as the point of osso-inflection. Point of osu inflection. Clear? Got it? Okay. So let this lecture be up till this much. In the next lecture, we will be talking about the tracing of the Cartesian equation. We're not talking about that in this particular lecture because it will sound a bit confusing. So we will meeting you guys in the next lecture.